My name is Daisy Friedman and I'm 17 years old. I am a senior in high school, so I am thinking about beyond high school and college and careers. I would love to study something in the performing arts because I still have been performing ever since I was young. I'd love to do something in theater, I'd love to do something in writing, and I really want to do something that tells diverse stories. I was born with gastroschisis, which is a condition where your intestines are born outside your body. So I had surgery when I was a few hours old to fix that, and complications kind of just evolved from that. I then ended up needing a transplant. I had 3 organs transplanted. I had a liver, a small bowel, and a pancreas. And I grew up in the hospital. I grew up on contact isolation. I do remember being in the hospital and always entertaining kids and entertaining the staff. I had these squeaky shoes when I was young, and I'd walk around the hospital and everyone would know me as the little girl who sang Annie songs and had squeaky shoes. Someone's registration for another person means a second chance at life, and giving that second chance at life literally makes them renewed and gets them to actually start living. Because when you're restricted to being in a hospital or being on an oxygen machine or anything, that's limiting your life. If I could talk to the donor family, I would say, first of all, thank you, and also, I am doing really wonderful things, and I think that you would be proud, and I get to keep pushing myself every day to be better and to do better and to achieve literally the impossible, because from the time I was, like 3, anything from here on out is kind of a miracle. My message to everyone that has already registered to be an organ donor, thank you, and you've done the right thing.
What are you doing today? School? Practice? Homework? YouTube? Today, and on any given day in the United States, 95 organs will be transplanted from one person to another. That's dozens of people who will get a second chance at life, to graduate high school, score the winning goal, land their dream job, have families, and impact their communities. But right now, there aren't enough organs available for transplants. Across the country, more than 100,000 people are waiting for a transplant. Hundreds of those are in Nebraska. Some will get their transplant in days. Some will wait years. Some transplants never come. Unfortunately, we lose 20 people each day on the waiting list, and the list keeps getting bigger. Every 10 minutes, another name is added. Hope for those on the waiting list comes from donors, everyday people who decide to help others by giving a part of themselves. Most people donate after they die, but some choose to make a difference while they're living. How can someone donate an organ while they're still alive? Almost everybody has 2 kidneys, but we only need 1 to survive. You can share your spare with someone in need. The liver can also be split and a portion given to someone on the waiting list. The donor's liver will grow back to its previous size just months after donation. How cool is that? Living donors volunteer to donate by contacting a transplant center. That's any hospital that performs transplants. Most living donors give to family members or friends, but some choose to give to total strangers. On the other hand, people who sign up to donate after their death will never know whose lives they will impact, but they can rest their heads each night knowing that being a donor will leave the world a better place.
I'm Shar Marsh, I'm 24 years old. I met Justin at college. He played football and I played golf, so we met through athletics. Justin was just a selfless person, super kind, caring, put others before himself. The memory of Justin that makes me the happiest is definitely just watching him play football. That was when he was the happiest, so it made me happy. And it's just a memory that I'll have forever because it was such an important part of our relationships. Oh yeah, I definitely was the biggest cheerleader, yeah. I went to every game, even if it was away. He was definitely my best friend. So 2 years ago, Justin and his friend were coming back from Lincoln early morning, and They got into a car accident. I wasn't surprised that Justin was an organ donor because he was just selfless, and like I said before, he just put others before himself and cared more about others than sometimes himself, honestly, but it was just a good trait of his that he had. As sad as the situation was, it was just a good feeling to know that he still wanted to care about others in his, like, when he no longer had life in him. Yeah, it would mean a lot to him, like, knowing he saved 5 lives, yeah. I think July of the year he passed away, I actually got to meet his heart recipient, so just knowing that was the life he saved. The recipient said that he was just so thankful under the circumstances that Justin did choose to be an organ donor, because without him he wouldn't be here. So that makes me pretty proud, just because it's the perfect representation of who he was as a person, and I think it's a good memory of him to have. He still lives on in people, and people are still alive because of him. Makes me thankful. I know not a lot of people know about the benefits of organ donation or even how to register to be an organ donor, because I know for me personally, I didn't know until I was getting my driver's license, and when I checked the box, I didn't even know what kind of impact it would make, but after going through it myself and seeing it firsthand, I definitely think that it's a good impact to make and a good choice to make.
Deceased donors can donate several organs and tissues. Let's look at the organs first. We already talked about the kidneys. In deceased donation, both kidneys can be donated, saving 2 different people. In some cases, the 2 lobes of the lungs can be split, helping 2 additional people breathe more easily. Then there's the heart, liver, small intestine, and pancreas. That's up to 8 lives saved by just 1 donor. But it doesn't stop there. Tissue donation can have an even greater impact. You might not be as familiar with these, so let's take a look at the tissues that can be donated and some of the most common ways they're used. First, heart valves. If the whole heart isn't transplanted, the valves can be donated to help someone else whose own valves are no longer doing their job to help control blood flow in and out of their heart. Did you know bones can also be donated? Whole bones, or large sections of them, can replace bone damage by injuries or cancer. In some cases, transplanted bones prevent the recipient from having an amputation. Donated skin can be used to save burn victims. It's also used to help breast cancer survivors who have reconstruction after a mastectomy. Corneas, the clear front part of the eye, can give sight to 2 different people. Donated veins are used in heart bypass and other surgeries that restore circulation throughout the body. Tendons, the elastic-like cords that attach bones and muscles to each other, can be donated to help rebuild damaged joints. These donations can benefit many different people, from soldiers to athletes. All in all, donated tissues from one person can save or improve the quality of life for more than 100 people.
My name is DeAndre Rice. I go to Millard South High School. I'm a senior there. I'm 17 years old. I play football. I'm a receiver there, and I also run track. I do triple jump and long jump. I've been playing sports since as long as I can remember. I've always been competitive, like in anything that I do. I could never see myself getting hurt, to be honest with you. I always thought I was just gonna be Superman, and if I got a scrape, it would heal up in a couple of days. Or, I hadn't even had a broken bone before that point. Like, I was always like super healthy. I remember they had me trying out a new position at running back, and I just got wrapped up wrong and kind of just fell wrong. It was just all like a freak injury. It just felt like somebody just took a sledgehammer and just went at my knee. And I ended up tearing my ACL, my MCL, my medial and lateral meniscus, and then my patellar tendon. I was just super sad, super down, but then like me just being the competitor that I am, like I knew that I was gonna come back. Like there wasn't no like, oh, I'll get back to walking. No, I'm gonna get back to playing. I received 2 Achilles donations, one for my patellar tendon and the other one for my MCL. I'm thankful for donor tissue just because it kind of gave me that sense of certainty that everything was gonna fall into place and that I wasn't gonna have to get another surgery or even get a knee replacement. I still feel strong and I'm still confident in my knee. It just gave me a new opportunity, like a new stride, I guess. The meaning to donate, you can change someone's life, and that right there just makes me smile, that I could help somebody out in need and change somebody's life, and so they can keep pursuing their dreams. You could give somebody an Achilles tendon or your heart or your lungs or even some skin grafts, it can change somebody's life, and I feel everybody should register to donate. Donor tissue has allowed me to keep pursuing my dream and to keep playing football at the collegiate level, and then go into my profession as a clinical psychologist. I just feel like the best is yet to come,
So how does donation and transplantation actually happen? When someone needs an organ transplant, their doctor adds their name to the transplant waiting list. Waiting is difficult, and the patient has to do everything possible to ensure they're physically, emotionally, and financially ready for a transplant. Some patients wait at home, others have to be hospitalized. Donation begins with a call to an organ procurement organization, or OPO for short. In our state, that's Live On Nebraska. Hospitals and other organizations who work with individuals at the time of death will notify Live On Nebraska that a patient might be eligible for donation. This call is only made when everything possible has been done to save the patient's life. Let's be clear about this. The potential for donation does not affect a patient's care in the hospital. From there, Live On Nebraska evaluates if the patient is eligible for organ or tissue donation, or both. If the patient is a good candidate, authorization is needed to move forward with donation. Patients who signed up to be donors have already given their authorization. If a patient is not registered, Live On Nebraska asks his or her family for authorization. After authorization, every donor's medical history is reviewed to determine what can be donated. This includes a conversation with the donor's family about anything that might not be revealed in a medical chart. Finally, the donation surgery takes place. Right before the surgery, the medical team observes a moment of silence to honor the donor and their selfless decision to help others. Throughout the process, the donor is treated with the utmost respect. After all, they're a hero. Here are a few other important details about the donation process. Patients are only eligible for organ donation if they die in a hospital. The donation process can take a few days, and the organs must continue to receive oxygen to be viable for transplant. Organs are matched to people on the waiting list based on factors like blood type, size, and distance between the donor and the recipients. Matches are never determined by race, gender, or income. After the donation surgery, organs are transplanted very quickly. Organs like the heart and lungs have 6 hours or less to be outside of the body. On the other hand, patients do not have to die in a hospital to donate tissues. Tissue donation is actually more common than organ donation because of this. Tissue donation surgery takes place within 24 hours of the donor's death. Unlike donated organs, donated tissue can actually be stored up to 5 years until a recipient needs it. If you think donation is something you want to do, here's how you can help. Start by having a conversation with your family. Let them know you want to be a donor and why. If you're 16 or older, you can register to be an organ and tissue donor online or at the DMV when you get your license. You can even do it at the end of this video. Believe it or not, that's all it takes. There are no medical issues that prevent someone from registering. Check that. None. Zero. Zilch. So you can tell your grandparents they're never too old to register either. In fact, Nebraska's oldest donor was 105. Registering to be a donor is a legal decision. But until you're 18, your parents will have to approve your decision if something should happen to you. That's why it's so important to have that conversation with dear old mom and dad and let them know exactly what you're thinking. Before we go, let's recap. More than 100,000 Americans are waiting for a life-saving organ transplant. One organ and tissue donor can save or improve the quality of life for more than 100 people. Anyone, I said anyone, who is 16 or older can register as a donor. You can make your mark by registering as a donor today.